Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new to my channel, my name is Juliana and you are highly welcome on this channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back to watch this video. So in today's video, as the title says, I'm going to be testing and demonstrating a bunch of Plain in Makeup by Yolondo products. So I've got quite a few of our products now, apart from foundation and concealer, which is what I'm going to be demoing in this video, and that's what I have on now with the high look. Everything is all Pimby. So if you like to know how I created this look, then please keep on watching. Okay, so I have an oily skin, so at the moment I've prepared my face for the oiliness by using like a mattifying primer, well, my preliminary mattifying primer. I will link my normal routine to this video just so you know the things I've missed, because we're only focusing on Pimby products. So everything I'm going to use inside here, and I'll be showing you as I use them the benefits I've found. Some of them are new. I've pretty much got them like this week, and some I've been using for like a year now. Some I've been using for like a month, but I will tell you my experiences of the one I've been using. Okay, let's start with the Faded Pores Silk Primer. This is meant to fill your pores, and that's how I use it anyway. I use it to fill my pores, and what I found is it's actually moisturizing as well, because the first time I used this with my normal moisturizing primer, and it was too much. I kind of felt like I had makeup at the end by the time I had finished my makeup. So I know that it's definitely moisturizing. So if you use mattifying product, then be very, very careful that this is already moisturizing, so you don't need to use an extra moisturizing primer. Alright, this is the first base, and I'm going to rub this all over my face. Now if I move close to the camera, I don't know if you can see. I'll see if I can zoom in when editing as well. The places where you kind of feel the pores I have, I'm going to go over my pores again, but for now I'm going to do the normal stuff I would do, which is priming my eyelid, because I've got very oily eyelids, and also my smile lines. Now that I've primed my eyelids and my smile lines, the last thing I do with my nose in terms of covering the pores is to press the primer in. So I literally tap over all the areas that I've got like extra pores, which is on my nose and around my nose, underneath my nose. So what I do is I tap in the primer as an extra help. So it's still the same primer, but rather than rubbing it now, I tap it in to fill in all the pores. Can you already see the difference? Now there is no holes, nothing, no pores. This is filling the pores and kind of like evening out the surface before I apply my foundation. So this is going to be different for everybody. The level of pores we have on our face is different from each other. So if you don't have that much pores, you can just stick to the rubbing in. But for me, I have to tap in as an extra measure. And I do this with any pore filler primer that I have anyway. Okay, that's as far as the preparatory product I have from Pimby. And as you know, she doesn't have any foundation or a concealer yet. I know they're on their way, but right now she doesn't have any. So I'm going to use like a color corrector, apply my foundation, my concealer, then I'll be right back for the next step. Alright, I've applied my foundation and my concealer, and I've also set my under eye, since she doesn't have an under eye setting powder. She does have a luxurious setting powder, which I got for the rest of my face, but not for my under eye. The shade I have is dark, so I only use it for my face really, not my under eye. At the moment I've ordered like the honey color, which I'm going to test, because I normally only ever use a particular powder for my under eye, which will be linked in my description section. But as far as today's concerned, we are just using Pimby products. So this is the Makeup Luxury Translucent Loose Setting Powder. That's the name of the powder, and that's the packaging. This is what the powder itself looks like. So I'm going to put a little bit on the cap. I mean, the one thing I don't like about this powder is the color of the cap, and also how much kind of tips into the back. So I'm going to tip a little bit back, because I don't think I'm going to need that much. It's like the hole in the thing is a lot, so a lot of products come out, but that's not a deal breaker. You just have to be careful. So when it comes to setting my skin, I like to use like a very fluffy brush, and that's what I'm going to use. I'm just going to set my skin lightly. But first of all, I'm going to make sure that my foundation is still looking nice and not kind of like off. Alright, that looks to still be looking okay, despite the fact that I've set my under eye already. Okay, let's get into the powder. Normally I use a mattifying setting powder, but this seems to me like in between. So it's not super mattifying, but it's also not too, how would I call it, too moisturizing or too dewy. Dewy is the word, yeah. I'm currently testing a foundation, which is the foundation I've used. It's the first time I'm using that foundation, and I like the effect of the foundation, but I bought a shade that is too dark for me. So, and this powder already is on the boundary of being too dark, so I don't know how this is going to come out, but at the end of the day, we are not after the color, we are after the performance of the product I'll be using. By setting with a fluffy brush, you are more likely to have like an even base rather than it being caked up. So you can easily tell when your face is already set, so you don't put on too much powder. I'm not going to hold my brush just at the tip here, because you have different effects by holding it at the end of the brush and by holding it at the top of the brush like this. So this is going to super give me a little bit more intensity in the pigmentation because of the way you're handling the brush. Okay, one trick I normally use with my powders is I make sure that I set the side of my nose separately. So to make sure that if you miss anything, because sometimes you can miss the side of your nose and then it gets all murky and you think it's the fault of the powder. No, it's application. So just make sure everywhere on your face is set, especially if you have oily skin. Alright, the next thing to do is to bronze and contour my face, and I have two of our products for that. I have the Tropical Vacay, which I've been using for about 3 weeks now. This is new. I've not applied it on my face apart from swatching it. This is the Tropical Summer Contour and Bronzer Palette, and I've got a shade medium to dark in this one. I don't think there's a shade with the Vacay one. I think it's just a normal one. So I've got medium to dark in the Tropical one. Now, if you're lighter than me, don't even go near the dark one. Just buy the light to medium one, because so I can only use these two. I won't dare go in this one apart from use it as an eyeshadow, but for these two I can definitely dip into these two. So I'm first going to contour my nose, and I'm going to start with this color first, the lightest in the bronzing one, and if it's not suitable then I'll mix it with that one. So I like to kind of contour my nose heavily, then blend it out later. So seems to be very reddish. I mean, to be honest, the whole color of my face today is being put off because the foundation I used is too dark. But I'm testing the foundation, so I had no choice. I'm gonna make it work. So that's the whole thing. The nice thing about makeup, you can always make things up. So normally this would have been enough for me. I wouldn't need to use a darker shade, but because my face is already darker than normal, I'm going to go into the darker color. So I'm going to top this up with the darker color, and don't worry, even if it's too dark, I will make it work. That's what I do. Okay, that's well and truly laid. I am then now going to concentrate on my cheeks. Right, starting with still bronzing, I'm going to start with that color. I'm going to put that on my cheeks. Everywhere really that I will still contour. I like to kind of start with a bronzing shade first. I like to do these things in step. I could very easily just mix the two colors together, but I don't like that. I like to do things in step. Use a particular color, see how that turns out, then adjust it. I don't call it darker, but I think it's a different tone. The first one I use is like very orange, is more on the orange side, whereas this one is more on the darker side, like more chocolatey, if you like. That's the best way to describe it. So I'm just laying that down over the first shade I used. I'm now going to use the side of that brush to start blending my nose. So for now, you know, I only lay down the color first. I didn't do any blending, but now I'm starting to blend. Okay, I want to be able to make use of all the shades in my palette, so I am going to go with this now, and I'm going to use that to adjust my nose blending. I mean, you don't have to do all of that, but all it means is one or two shades in this palette is going to be useless and you won't be able to use them. So I tend to try and do this to try and make use of my palette. So I'm going to use this shade to tone my nose contour down. Right, now that that's done, I'm now going to use this lighter one as an highlighter right in the middle of my nose and beside my nose. That shade is actually like grayish, is a grayish light one, which is kind of off really for, I can't really use it for highlighting. To me it seems more gray than yellow toned, but it seems to be doing the job, especially if you're mixing it with the other shades. So as you can see, that's brightened the top of my nose. I'm also going to use it to kind of shape the side of my nose as well. I'm gonna use it to highlight the rest of my face. If I need to mix it with that, I might, but for now I'm just using this because I've already used the darker foundation, so it should work. So putting it on areas that I would normally want light on my face, underneath my eyes. I'm also going to put it right under my contour right here, just to brighten my face a little bit. I'm going to blend everything together for now. Now taking that brush, I'm going to blend everything on my nose together. Okay, everything seems to be all beautifully blended together. So my the last thing I will do now is mix these 3 shades and just kind of like go all over my face. Make sure things are looking as they should be looking. So gently kind of like merging my highlighter shade to my contour. So right now I'm just placing before I blend. Because the goal is to not see where one starts and where one ends. Well, as much as possible anyway. I mean, yes, obviously still going to see the highlighted bit of my face right in the center. I also want to, as much as possible, get rid of any marks on my skin, on my face. Okay, I think I like that. I like the place that have been highlighted. I like the place that are bronzed, the place that are contoured. Yeah, it all seems to work. Alright, the next thing is blush. So this is the blush palette I have from her, and it's called the Bloom Blush Palette. I've been using this for like a year now. Yeah, so I'm gonna start with this yellow shade, and I might possibly just dig into 1 or 2 shades on the bottom side. So starting with the yellow blush, I'm gonna change my brush. Alright, so wow, can you see that? Then just putting that on the high points of my cheek. I always try and match my blush to my eye color, and I think I'm gonna do orangey red purple today. So I am gonna go with a mixture of these 2 shades. These 2, I think they should go with the eye look. If not, once I finish my eye look, I might just top it up with the whatever shade I feel will match my eyes. So going on top of that yellow. And I like a lot of blush, so I'm going to be applying a lot, because I can always tone it down with powder, but you know, at first I like a lot. I also like to use my blush to kind of like shape my face really. So I use it to hug my cheeks, so right about there, and bring it to my forehead. And then just going to just that orange, I'm going to layer it on top of this again. Like I said, I love a lot of blush, so yeah. So finally going to use my normal powder that I use for my face and blend the whole thing. Okay, I think I'm satisfied with that. Now it's time for highlighter. I'm hoping I remember at the end of the video I will tell you my top 5 products. If not, then I'll put it in the description section. So for the highlighter, I am going for the Diamond Highlighter Palette Born to Shine. Again, this one I've had for about a year now. This is what it looks like. So I usually like to use one of these 2 shades, mostly this one. And this is the one I'm going to try and use today. I might mix it with this one, but we'll see. And this is my favorite brush in applying my highlighter. So I'm just going to apply that on all the places I will usually apply my highlighter. It's a little bit on my chin, just on top of my lip, on my nose, and then on the high point of my cheekbone. I'm using it to hug what I would like to call the bone the bone structure of my cheek, if I have one. So just on the high point of my face. I will still blend it with my powder brush as well, just like I do. I like to go over everything with my powder brush when I've finished. So a little bit on my cheek. I've put it too far. I like to definitely have some on my cheeks. Going for the lighter one, just for the sake of using it. I'm going to put down the bridge of my nose, so right there. Alright, the highlighter is well and truly on. So what I do as a last point or note is to go over my highlighter with my blush. So I'm using that same blush brush. I'm just going to merge everything together just so you can see where the highlighter kind of sits on my skin too much. So I mix it in with my blush and my bronzer and everything. Yeah, I just think it has a better effect that way. So almost like the highlighter is in my blush basically. The face is more or less pretty much done, so I'm gonna set it and then I'm gonna move on to brows. Alright, just so you know, I've already used one setting spray already. I like to use I would like to call it like a moisturizing kind of setting spray that will sink my powder into my skin. So I've already applied that, but we are going to go for the Yolondo one now. So this is the Motionless setting spray, and I'm telling you, this thing it makes your makeup last for a long time. So if you know you're going to wear your makeup for like 4 hours, 2 hours, don't use this. Don't use this, because the last time I did, it was very difficult getting my more difficult than usual getting my makeup off, because normally my foundation and everything I use is meant to make my makeup last for at least 8 to 10 hours, sometimes even 13 hours. So using this on top of it kind of elongates, you know, the span of the makeup. So this is what I'm going to use as a finishing product in terms of setting my skin. So I shake it first, and it's got a very nice smell to it. I could spray this all day, honestly. It's really got a nice, fantastic smell. I can't place what it is, but it just smells so nice. So second one. The last sale she had, I've already ordered the backup because this is really good. I'd like to try the rose water one, but it's always out of stock, which I don't really mind because I really don't like dewy stuff. And I'm just going to let that dry, and then we'll carry on with the brows. For my brows, I've got about 3 products. One of them I've not used before. So I've used the brow soap before, and I've used the pencils, but I only recently got the pomade. So this is going to be new to me today. Normally, I hate applying my brows. It's one of the part of my makeup that I really hate and dread. So I don't like it. But the brow soap comes with like a brush. So what I tend to do is put the brush in the soap, just get a good amount, and then use it to kind of brush my eyebrow upwards. Well, the tiny little bit I've got there. So this kind of helps it to kind of stay in place. It stiffens it and make it stay upwards, which is what I like to do because I haven't got much up there. So next thing I'm going to do is set the brow soap with powder. So put in powder, any powder will do. But I like to use a lighter one, not a darker one, because you don't want that part of your face to be too dark. So what the powder and the soap does is it stiffens it, so it makes it easy for me to use my pencil. Okay, like I said, the pencils are not new to me. I've been using them, and what I found is since I've bought these pencils, I'm not using any brow pomade at all. I use my pencils from start to finish. Normally I use pencils and then use brow pomade for my brow when I'm doing my brows, but since I got them, I haven't. But today I will be. So I have the shade 3 and 5. The only thing I wish is that the numbers are on the pencil themselves. They are not. They are on the cover, but not on the pencils themselves. So they're like on top of the cover. So if you mix up the cover, then you don't know which one you're using. But what I would normally do is kind of like swipe them on the back of my hand to try and tell before I start using it. So this is 5. I know that's the darkest. And that's 3, just so you can see the difference. So that's the 5 and that's 3. So I start with 3 in the inner part of my brows, then I go with 5 on the outerwards part. So I really don't need the pomade, but for demonstration purposes I will use it today. So let me come close to the camera. As you can see, it glides on smoothly because of the soap and because of me setting it. It gives me like a nice tough even surface, because there's nothing as bad as trying to use this pencil and you're sliding all over the place. Yeah, I don't often do my brows on camera, so you're gonna have to forgive me. Okay, That's as far as 3 is gonna go for now. I'm gonna use it to feather the front as well, but now I'm going for the 5, and I'm gonna use that for the outer part of my brows. Can you see the difference? I'm hoping that you can see the difference in the color. Yeah, this is very dark. Okay, that's as far as I'm going with the 5 for now. Actually, I might just use it a little bit to go over the 3 at the beginning, just so I can see properly where the line is. I will try and fade it out later on, but for now. And I'm also gonna use it for the top, not the middle, but just like right there. I'm avoiding the innermost part of my brow, so I can use the 3 for that. It's just so I can see where my brow is supposed to be, like the frame. So now going back into the 3, I'm going to feather up. I have no brow there. Let's ignore that stupid pimple that appeared this week. Every time I decide to kind of film, that's when some sort of pimple appear. So I'm using the 3 to kind of feather up my brow, so just draw some sort of strokes. And normally I would just tidy up with the pencil and leave it at that, but we are going to demonstrate the pomade today. So this is the pomade, and it just says Yay Brow Pomade, and that's it. And the color I got is brunette. So I've not even opened this, I've not swatched it, I don't know what it looks like. Hope you can see, and I'm going to put it on the back of my hand as well. So that's what it looks like. So it looks to me like, ooh, it's quite dark, so I'm going to have to concentrate it on the outer part of my brows, or at least if I'm going to use it in the front, I have to use it very lightly. So here goes. I mean, the pencil is already done the job pretty much. I mean, all this is doing is just giving it a more, I want to say making it look fuller. So just extending it a little bit at the back there. Okay, I've put a little bit more on my hand, and I'm kind of like mixing it for the front part. I don't want the intensity to be too much in the front part, because it's quite dark, I think, darker than I would normally put in the front part of my brows. So I'm just stamping it over where I already put the light brown pencil, the color 3. Stamping it lightly and then pulling it forward. And then the last thing is to just kind of like pull that brush upwards everywhere, so that it doesn't look like I just slapped in the brow pomade, which I did, but we don't want it to look like that. So I'm just kind of like pulling it upwards to give it like a brush-like effect, and strand-like, so they look like strands rather than just pomade sitting there. Okay, that's what the brows are looking like right now. I'm also going to use like a setting gel to set it, but Pimby doesn't have one, so I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, I didn't really need the gel, but it's what I'm used to, so I'm doing that anyway. Like I said, I hate brows, so I'm going to clean up under my brows, but I'm not going to use a wet product. I'm going to use a powder, because just too, I can't be bothered. So I'm going to use this light shade here. I'm going to pretend that that's a concealer I'm using to clean my brows. So because when I clean my brows with concealer, I have to kind of like set the concealer again, and no, we're just not going to do that. So I'm using powder straight away. You know, I'm kind of tilting my head backwards a little bit, just so I can capture the line I want underneath my brow. Can you see the difference? Okay, and that's alright. Shape my brows. I don't do anything on top. I just did brows, so that's as far as I'm going. As far as the brows is concerned, I might just maybe a little bit lighten the front. So again with the powder, just feather it over the front here to give it a lighter effect, so that it's not like all dark and block like. So yeah, that's it. So let's move on to the eyes. Okay, I'm going to be using 3 palettes. I'm going to be using the Paint Me Chrome palette, which I got in the Chrome mystery box. And I'm also going to be using the Capture and Basic palette. So the Basic is all matte, and this is got, the Capture has got a little bit of shimmer in it. It's got two, so that one and that one. And I think if I dig into the shimmers, it's gonna be this, but I mainly pulled it out because of this orange shade. I think it will go nicely with this orange. So I know I want this purple on my lower lash line because the lipstick I got is purple, so I like something to bring together that lipstick. So I don't have any plan, but we're just gonna see how it goes, and I have to be quick as well because this video is already too long. I've got two eyeshadow base from her. I've got foundation and H, which I most likely will be mixing together today. Would have to see, but that's what I'm going to be priming my eyes with. So this one is foundation and that's H. So I'm just using like a random brush to apply the eyeshadow base first. Then I'm going to like spread it out, possibly with another brush. Unless this one works, because I don't usually use this one, but I've washed most of my brushes, so I'm having to use alternatives. I'm just going to spread that over everywhere. I'm going to be applying shadows. Okay, I have H all over my eyes, so I'm going to take a little bit of the foundation color and I'm just going to mix it on top of the H. I mean, you don't have to do this. You could have done it on the back of the hand, but I'm doing it on my lid. And then using my initial brush, I'm just going to tap it down. What this is doing is applying it and spreading it and taking out the excess at the same time. I just feel like H is going to be too dark and then the foundation is too light, so I really need a shade, an in-between shade. I did buy the brush set from her. The others, like I said, I've been washed, so these are the clean ones that I have. In fact, I haven't used these ones at all, so I'm going to incorporate it alongside some other brushes and we're just going to apply the eye look. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do, like I said initially, but I'm going to go with the flow. So I know, the only short thing I know is that I want the purple on my lower lid, so I'm going to take this on my lower lid. Wow, look at that pigmentation. Wow. I'm just pressing it in. And I'm going to go with this orange from Capture palette in the front part of my lid, this one. It might be too dark. If it's too dark, I'll mix it with the orange in the basic palette. Doesn't look too light. Yeah. Okay, on the front part of my lid, I'm gonna go with this orange in the basic palette. Wow, pigmentation on that. So I'm just dabbing in the shade onto my lid. And I'm taking it higher up a little bit into my crease. Not too high, just lightly. And I'm making sure that on my crease is kind of like blended out and not got too much opacity. I just want it the color to be faded on the crease. And for the outer part of my lid, I'm going in with the red, and I'm using the Y204, I believe. It's one of the one in the set. So I'm taking this red and I'm going to use that on the outer part of my lid. I don't know where this look is going, so I already said that earlier, so apologies on that. I don't know how I'm going to mix orange and red together, but that's what I feel like doing today. And then I'm going to use that purple to kind of pull it together. But that red is so pigmented. Wow. So again, as I'm taking it into my crease, I'm feathering my hands, and this is so that I don't have too much blending to do. When it comes to my eye looks or applying my eyeshadow, I'm quite lazy. I don't like to work. I don't like too much blending. So this is how I make sure that it's blended from the word go and don't have to spend too much time. Besides, we don't have too much time today because I've already taken too much time on my face. And as you can see, it requires very little blending. Right now, it's already blending itself. So that's why I dab. I dab and I use very lighter hand when I get to the top, so that it gives me an already blended effect. There. Okay, and that's it. as far as the top bit of my eye is concerned. So now I'm going to kind of blend the purple into my eyes to give it like a cohesive effect, so that the purple is just not standing alone. So what I will do is I'll explain as I do it. I'm going to like pull in the purple a little bit onto my outer lid as well, just right there at the bottom, so that it look like a family rather than it just sitting on its own. So I'm only going to use it right there, and to darken the outer part of my eye. So right now I'm just dabbing in the color. I'm not blending the purple in yet. I'm just giving it like a mixture, basically making it feel like it's the same eye look and not a different eye look. So going into the same brush I used for the red, I'm gonna now dab that purple in, and again I will go over it with that red again because I want that red to be showing. But right now all I'm doing is mixing in the purple with my look, so it makes sense to use the same brush. Okay, now going back into the red, I am now going to bring the red back. I don't want to lose the red on the outer edge, even though I still want to be seeing the purple, but I still want to see the red at the same time. So I'm going to be going back and forth into the purple and the red until I get the right blend, just like this side. And before I finish that blending, I'm going to go back into the brush I used for the orange and then use it for the edge. So tapping it in. Don't want it to get too muddy right by my brow bone, so just tapping the color in. So going back into that purple and just feathering it at the edge here. I don't want it to be too dark, so just bringing it down, really like pulling down, and then going back into that orange and making sure that the orange is still like showing at the edge. That's the things when using this kind of colors and you're mixing odd colors, be prepared to kind of go back and forth, which I'm prepared to do, but just saying, just so you know. I'm going to bring back a little bit more of the orange I lost on my lid and just kind of like merge it into the purple. I don't want the purple to overtake the look. I still want the orange on my inner part, just like that. Alright, so this is as far as I'm going with the matte. It's now time to apply the shimmer. Yeah, I finished off this eye and kind of did my scarf and everything before coming back on camera. So let's start with the shimmer. At the moment I've got a glitter primer on my eye, but Pimby doesn't have one, so I did that off camera. So the shades I've mainly used is this top one here, this one, and this, as well as this. So 4 shades on my eye at the moment. I might still add more, but we'd have to see. So on the outer part of my lid, they haven't got names, so for now I'm just going to go into this purple here. I don't know what tone you are seeing, but that's what I'm going to put in my outer corner. So just stamping that on the outer edge. I think I see effects of purple and green on this one. Don't know what you are seeing on the camera, but I can see a little bit of green on it. So that's what I'm putting on my outer edge, and I'm stopping right there. And going into this orange peach, I don't know what you want to call it, so I'm going to use that for my main lid, then use this for my inner corner. So the orange shade first. Oh, it is beautiful. So I'm just placing that right in the inner part of my eyes and slightly pulling it up to the crease. Now I'm going in with a flat brush to get like a precise application, so I'm going to use that. And then again, pull it up into the crease like I usually do, in form of like a fake cut crease if you like. I don't really cut my crease per se with eyeshadow base or concealer or whatever. I try to use the glitters themselves to cut my crease, or to give you some sort of definition on my crease. Okay, now that I have that down, I'm going to go for like an in-betweener shade between that purple and the orange, and I'm going to put that right where the two meet, just to give it added honestly added beauty. Really, I like to have a lot of shimmers on my eyes, as many as possible. Once I've placed that blue, purple, I then go back into the orange and blend it right into each other. Yeah, I think they pretty much look the same now. Yeah, so the next thing is to now put the white shade in my inner corner. So going without white, it actually appears white on the in the pan, but it's yellow on the eyes, light yellow. So that's the shade. As you can see, it's appearing white, but when applied, it comes off as yellow. So I'm taking that on my inner tear duct as well, my lower tear duct. So it turns yellow on the eyes. I'm going to build up the intensity of the one right in my inner corner by placing a little bit of glitter glue on top of what I've already applied and applying that shade to give it a little bit more of intensity. I want there to be a difference in my inner corner compared to the other part of my eyes. So I'm gently gonna just give my eyes some sort of definition right here by pulling that yellow. Can you see? Just to kind of shape, to further kind of like give me the shape of a cut crease effect. But I'm going to stop right here. I'm not going to pull it right too long into my crease, because I want that pitch to still be showing. Alright, before I go any further, I'm going to go into that light shade in the Tropical Vacay to kind of clean up my brows. So all the places where my application went too far into my brow bone, I'm just going to kind of clean it. And right underneath my eyeshadow as well, my lower lid. And then finally I'm going into this purple here to kind of merge the yellow and the purple together. I'm just going to lay that a little bit where they meet right here to kind of give it some sort of just to kind of make it blend better. Yeah, using that shade makes it so easy on the purple rather than yellow gold right bang on purple. All that is left now is lashes and lipstick. So the lipstick I've got from her is actually called Lucky, and this is it. So right now I've got some sort of moisturizing balm on my lips because I don't like applying too matte of a lipstick on my lips, but that's the shade. It smells really nice. So I'm just gonna apply that. So it's not actually purple per se, it looks lilac-y to me, and lilac-y always makes me feel bruised and makes my teeth kind of yellow as well. So we just see how it's gonna look in the end. So I'm gonna follow through. That's it on the lips. I really don't like liquid lipstick, but I didn't see any bullet lipstick on her side, so I thought I would get this. This was the closest shade that I didn't really have. I think there was red in there, but I have a lot of red lipstick. I didn't want to waste any money, so I went for a shade I don't really have, and I don't with this one, which was darker, but it is what it is. Alright, for the lashes I've got the style called Friday. So this is the case it comes in, very luxurious. And this is the lashes itself. I hate applying new lashes because of the cutting and all the sorts. I actually thought this was supposed to have like a green edge on the lashes, but it's plain. I would have to check the website because I'm pretty sure I ordered the one that has like green on the side. I mean, I don't usually use lashes as big as this, but I think that was all she had on her site. I'm actually tempted to use my normal lash because this is just so big. Definitely bigger for the style I have. I mean, you won't even be able to see anything. So for today, I'm gonna skip these lashes and just use my regular lashes. So I'm gonna apply the lashes and I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back and this is the finished look. I've just used a regular lash that I've been using because that one was too big, like I said, and this is the finished look. And up close, this is what it's looking like. I wish I didn't have to rush my lashes, but I had to. But this is the finished look. It's all about the look, not the lashes. Okay, alright, that's the end of me demoing playing the makeup by Yolondo products. So I said I was going to point out my top 5 of all of our products that I have at the moment. So this is in no particular order at all. I love our blushes. I absolutely love our blushes. The fact that they are different colors and you can do whatever you want with the colors, mix and match, makes it also worthwhile for me. And I've been using this a lot. In fact, I try and stop myself sometimes just so I can use my other products, but this is one of my top 5. Another one that I find really useful is the pencils. Like I said, before I bought the pomade, this is all I now use on my lid. It's just so effective with the brow soap, you know, and this pencil it's just so perfect, and it makes applying my brows so much easier that I actually look forward to applying my brows now. So this is one of my favorite from her. I also love the Tropical Vacay palette because I like it when the palette is got like a mixture of colors and you can kind of mix and match and shape your face according to how you would normally shape your face or according to the shape of your face. So I like this Tropical Vacay palette a lot, and I also like the formula, the fact that I can use this as a powder just to highlight the places I want. I like it. So this is one of my favorites as well. Another favorite is the Luxury setting powder. I do like this, but I have a feeling I might have to tone my color down. At the moment I'm using dark, but I always get the feeling like it's slightly too dark than my skin tone. It might make a difference in the summer, but right now I like this, and I'm going to be mixing it with honey. I've ordered honey, so I'm going to be mixing it slightly with honey or translucent. I ordered honey and translucent, but I love the feel of a finishing powder. The setting powder is really nice. The fifth one is the Motionless setting spray. This lives up to its name. It's honestly such a beautiful setting spray. It just sets everything in place, nothing moves. It's just so nice, and it's not mattifying as well to make your face cakey. It has just a tiny little bit of moisture at the same time, you know, keeping your foundation and your powder and everything in place. So I like this one as well. I know I said 5, but what you have mentioned is the Poreless Silk Primer. The reason why this is not in my top 5 is because I also have other issues with my skin. I've got oily skin for a start. This is only, for me, it only works for my pores. So I need her to come out with a primer that works for everything, you know, so I don't have to use different primers. You know, one that will mattify, one that will make it the face smooth. This does make it smooth, but the focus is really to fill out your pores and kind of even out your skin. So I thought it was worthy of mentioning. So those are my top products from Playing in Makeup by Yolondo. It doesn't mean that all the other products are not good. They are beautiful, equally beautiful. But if you could only get 5, those are my top 5. And those ones, from now on, they are like a staple. In fact, I've ordered more of the pencil, I've ordered more of the powder as mentioned, and I've ordered another of the setting spray. So that makes it, for me, that makes them so important and unmissable as far as our products are concerned. So those are my top 5, 6 if you like. And of course the eyeshadows, I can't mention that. That would be unfair because I love her eyeshadows. I'm not going to mention that because that was her basic product before she started adding everything. So we are all used to the pigmentation of our shadows, so we know how they perform. So I'm not going to mention that or put that into the mix. I'm just talking about the other products. So those are my top 5, 6-ish if you like. Okay, that is the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed this long video, but I just wanted to kind of like demonstrate, you know, our product. So I'm just hoping it's not been too long. So I do hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. I've got a lot of content coming up, including Pimby and other brands. I've got a lot of content coming on my channel, especially for the summer, so you don't want to miss them. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I'll say